Elon freaking Musk, man, the guy, he's ended the bull market. The bear is here. Grr. Come on, Elon, you weren't supposed to. You're supposed to be the promised one. You're supposed to bring balance to the force, not leave it in ruins. Something like that, anyway. If you're freaking out because of one dude and his company tweeting about Bitcoin, oh man, that's going to be a rough journey for you in the cryptocurrency markets because Elon Musk not accepting Bitcoin in exchange for cars at Tesla. That is some of the weakest FUD I can possibly imagine. You guys should run out here in 2017. China freaking banned cryptocurrencies, and we survived that. We're going to survive a tweet, team. We can do this together. I know we can. In this video, I will break down the Tesla story for you, as well as sharing some good news that the markets have had over the last couple of days, while we're taking a look at the technicals. So make sure to stick around. I also have some practical tips for you just to kind of help you get through these markets if you're newer around here and finding all of this a bit crazy. My name's Lark. Every day, most days, I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing. So if that's a topic you'd like to learn some more about, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also click on the notification bell to know when I put out a new video. And if you could take just one quick moment, tap the thumbs up button, just gently. You don't have to be aggressive to your computer or anything, just gently tap that thumbs up button. The YouTube algorithm would absolutely freaking love it. So thank you in advance for doing that. Now let's go ahead and turn over to the charts. So you do have to hand it to Elon Musk. A tweet from Elon that Tesla will not be accepting payments for cars anymore in Bitcoin shook the market significantly. We actually saw the price of Bitcoin drop by $12,000, 20% in total, going down from its highs around here of $58,000 yesterday to around $46,000 before recovering to its approximate current price of $50,000 per Bitcoin. That's a lot of power in a tweet. Now, I'm not particularly loving the look of the technicals right now on Bitcoin. Now, as I was discussing in the last video, in terms of technical analysis for Bitcoin, I was really hoping that the 50-period moving average was actually going to find itself as an area of support for Bitcoin. Without an Elon Musk tweet, we probably would have been doing okay, but unfortunately, the tweet did happen. The price did come down. A pretty dramatic red daily candle here for Bitcoin. We are now pretty significantly under the 50-period moving average. We're also under the 100-day moving average. That's the orange line on the chart here. Now, during the previous dip, I was quite encouraged because we actually saw the price come down and bounce off of the 100-day moving average, finding that as a line of support and coming back up, finding resistance here, obviously. But now we've lost both the 50-day and the 100-day, which I'm not super excited about. The line in the sand before we need to start getting worried, and I'm not worried yet by any means. The bull market is not over for a many multitude of reasons. In fact, I'm going to make a video really diving into that in the next couple of days with the technicals, looking at all the different things you should keep an eye on. But right now, the 200-day moving average, the basically key indicator to say, hey, this is still a bull market, is quite a bit down there. That would be a fall in price all the way down to around $39,000, and obviously needing to fall under that to really say, hey, the bull market is over. So if Bitcoin were to start doing daily closes at like $35,000 in the next week or two, that would be some bad news bears. I'll keep that real. Now, obviously a great time to buy the dip and all that stuff, but it could get ugly in that particular scenario. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. I don't think that's what's going to happen. These kinds of dip situations, they are pretty common, standard stuff during a bull market. And we'll just take a quick look at 2017 because, I got to give you that perspective. I know we have a look at this quite a bit, but it's just so important to keep this stuff in mind because if you haven't been around before, if this is your first cryptocurrency rodeo, you have to keep in mind what happens during the markets. So let's just take our 100-period moving average here as a point of reference. We saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different dips under the 100-day moving average in 2017. Every single one of those dip opportunities was a great buying opportunity. And you can see in each situation, the market did go on to recover afterwards, pushing significantly higher. But these are the exact right here, and right here, and right here, and right here, and right here. These are the exact kind of market events that shake people out. Every one of these events was some kind of big FUD story, either a big hack at a centralized exchange or China coming out and banning cryptocurrencies or any of that stuff. These all had big impact. In fact, 2017 saw some much bigger events to shake the market versus a tweet. So let's keep that in a bit of perspective here. By the way, if you want to trade Bitcoin or Ethereum or Dogecoin or Cardano or whatever your fancy might be, you need to check out Femex. It is the best futures trading platform in the cryptocurrency market. It is my preferred exchange for trading futures. Currently, they're also running an insane deposit bonus. So if you use the link down below in the description to start your account, you'll get 10% off of your fees, up to $150 in deposit bonuses and trading bonuses, and you can get up to an extra $2,000 trading bonus. So definitely check that out. You can see here the amounts of Bitcoin that you need to deposit in order to get the different tier bonuses. It's $2,000 for the 2 Bitcoin deposit. But even if you're depositing smaller amounts of Bitcoin, you can still get some pretty good bonuses. This is for experienced traders only. But if you are a trader, then check that out using the link down below in the description. Now let's get into the news. So the first story here is that DBS, they have started Asia's first bank-backed crypto trust service. Now, this is not a surprise. I just want to tell you that DBS actually leaked some information about the service that they're going to be offering late last year. So we've known that this was coming for a little while, but it has now been launched. So they're now offering Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and XRP to their clients. So this is for their private banking clients, for people who have a lot of money with the bank. So this isn't a retail-focused service yet, but just another one to put on the wall in terms of banks adopting cryptocurrency services, especially for rich clients. But that will start with the rich clients, and it will definitely filter down to retail over time. We've seen some US banks making moves towards retail adoption, but they're all starting off with rich clients first, everybody else later on. But these services are coming, so cool to see a big Southeast Asian bank hopping on the bandwagon here. Most of the stories recently have been about US banks offering these kind of crypto services. Obviously, the world is a lot bigger than just the US markets, so it's good to see that happening. Also, something to keep in mind, the fundamentals of cryptocurrencies, particularly of Bitcoin. US inflation is up 4.2% in the last month. This is such an important thing to remember because beyond a tweet, beyond the price of Bitcoin today or tomorrow or yesterday or in a week's time, the big picture, it's what keeps me so calm in this market. It's what keeps me focused on the 5 to 10 year picture, the 20-year picture for my investments. Most people aren't thinking about what's happening in 5 minutes from now, let alone 5 years for their investments. Inflation is here. Inflation is continuing to rise all of the time, particularly for the dollar, the euro, but for a lot of different currencies. Central banks have been doing massive financial crimes, huge inflation. We have negative rates hitting a lot of countries. We have central banks buying up corporate debt. We have central banks bailing out the lending markets and all this stuff. None of that stuff has stopped, right? All these bailout programs and all this stuff is destroying fiat currencies. And there's Bitcoin, Gold 2.0, the perfect dollar inflation hedge, gold for the modern era, a store of value and a great inflation hedge, and an underpriced inflation hedge. Bitcoin is worth 1/10 of the price of gold by market cap. So Bitcoin, an asset which is perfect for an inflation hedge, is also massively undervalued compared to the world's biggest inflation hedge right now. So there's a lot of opportunity there. You do have to keep in mind the big picture of why you got into cryptocurrencies in the first place. I know for a lot of people, it's just about making a quick buck, gambling on some meme coins. The big picture, the long-term picture, once you make some money on some meme coins, Think about how you're actually going to keep a hold of that wealth long term. Because the more you learn about what's going on, the more you actually want to hold Bitcoin for a long time frame. Now let's get into the Tesla story. So everyone, the markets are shaking because Tesla has announced that they will not, in the end, be accepting Bitcoin for purchases of their cars. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Now, I know a lot of people are pissed off at Elon because, he tweets something good about Bitcoin one day, then he tweets this the next day, and he's the whole Dogecoin thing. I mean, come on. Talk about being a Pied Piper for the masses. Holy cow. But Tesla not accepting Bitcoin for their cars doesn't freaking matter because you know what? Almost no one was going to buy a car using Bitcoin. Oh, sure, a couple of people might have. But realistically, why the heck are you going to spend your Bitcoin on a car, something that you know after 10 years is going to be worth half as much as when you bought it? And your Bitcoin that you sold to buy that car, which is now worth half the price it was when you bought it, is worth 10 times as much. Bitcoin is a wealth-preserving tool. It is a financial asset. You don't need to go and throw it away on buying a car. That's what your dirty dollars are for. Use up them dirty dollars, guys, to buy a car if you need to buy a car. Not your Bitcoin. Now, it's also important to point out here that Tesla has said that they will be keeping their Bitcoin. So they're not accepting Bitcoin for purchases, but they're keeping the Bitcoin that they bought. Anyway, it's not just the fact that they're not accepting Bitcoin in exchange for vehicles anymore that pissed off so many people. It's that they said they're not accepting Bitcoin because of their concerns about the climate. Well, hey, look, Bitcoin is using a lot of energy, but I made a video last week debunking this common talking point that you see about Bitcoin. Yes, it is using a lot of energy, but the carbon emissions of Bitcoin are actually quite low because Bitcoin is run 74% on renewables. Now, I'm sure that Elon actually knows this stuff. Maybe the board has overruled him on this. Remember, he is, just part of the Tesla company. He doesn't get to decide everything. There is a board which, probably has overruled him on this because let's think about the reality of a Tesla car just for a second. And I'm a Tesla owner. I'm a big fan of the cars. But you just have to keep in mind, the problem isn't a Tesla car or Bitcoin, it's the energy grid overall. So if you think about, as a criticism for Tesla, if you're going to criticize Bitcoin and say, okay, well, we don't want to accept payments in Bitcoin because of climate change concerns, well, then how are you mining the lithium for the batteries for your Tesla cars? Because you have to use big old dirty diesel trucks to do that. That's some pretty dirty energy. And an electric car is great, especially if you live somewhere like New Zealand, like I do, where 80 to 85% of our energy comes from renewables. Hydroelectric plants. Here in Wellington, we have lots of wind farms. It's a very windy city. So we're almost always running on the extreme majority of our energy mix on renewables. But you take somewhere like China, which gets, of course, the most criticism in terms of its energy use, because that's where most of the Bitcoin is mined. You have to look at where the energy actually is. So most of the Bitcoin is being mined in the Sichuan province. Now, the Sichuan province is thousands of kilometers away from the big East Coast cities where the majority of the population lives. So there's a lot of hydroelectric energy production capacity which can't be transferred over to the East Coast cities. It's locally produced and locally used, and there is a surplus of that. So that energy is dirt cheap and renewable. And yes, there is some Bitcoin mined in China using coal, but the Chinese government's actually been cracking down on that over the last few years. They kicked a lot of Bitcoin miners out of the Inner Mongolia province for that exact reason, because they didn't want people mining Bitcoin using coal. And so they kicked the miners out. Now, some miners have gone over to the Xinjiang province, where there's also issues around Bitcoin being mined with coal, but most of the Bitcoin being mined in the Sichuan province, where they use hydroelectric power that would otherwise go used. Now let's talk about the East Coast cities. Tesla obviously has a manufacturing plant in Shanghai. So they're selling cars to people in China who would probably live in the East Coast cities, where those cars are probably mostly powered by non-renewable sources. There's a lot of coal energy in China, which is true. Not in the Sichuan province, but in East Coast cities, yes. So it becomes a really, really sticky conversation because the facts just don't all add up. And if you're going to criticize one thing, let's be honest about the other conversations. And I say all that stuff as somebody who admits that proof of work has problems, that the energy consumption of Bitcoin is not perfect, that I'd like to see Bitcoin being run on 100% renewables. I do own a Tesla in spite of those different concerns that you may have about the production of electric cars. When I talk about production of cars, let's talk about the production of other cars. And of course, the production of Bitcoin is something you should have a serious conversation about as well. So just, some rambling thoughts there for you on this whole topic when it comes down to Tesla and their Bitcoin stuff. And some final thoughts here for you. If you are selling your Bitcoin, you're panic selling your Bitcoin because Elon tweeted something about it, I can basically guarantee that in 5 years' time, you're going to regret panic selling your Bitcoin because of someone's tweet. Come on, man. Come on. Let's keep it real, guys. And if your portfolio cannot survive Elon Musk tweeting something not glowing praise about Bitcoin, then you're doing something wrong. Remember, they're just not accepting Bitcoin for payments because of something climate change, right? They're still holding their Bitcoin. Keep that in mind. So if your portfolio is getting all messed up, well, let's just keep some basic things in mind. Stop gambling on meme coins. Those are super high risk, super dangerous. Just look at it like a lottery ticket if you do play the meme coin game, but don't take that as a serious investment. Don't over leverage yourself. An exchange like Femex, for example, it offers leverage up to 100x. You shouldn't be using 100x leverage. Just because you go to a bar and you can order a whole bottle of tequila and drink it all at one time doesn't mean you should. You go in with 2, 3, 4, 5x. Keep it chill. Keep it chill, guys, with your leverage. And of course, what I see most with this whole Elon Musk story is extreme levels of emotionality, because you are probably your own worst enemy when it comes to investing. There's some things you need to get out of your portfolio. Get the fear out, get the anger out, get the blame out, and get the FOMO out of your portfolio. People out there blaming Elon Musk, and hey, look, you can be pissed off at Elon for being hypocritical, whatever. But if you're blaming him because your portfolio's down, or because you panic sold, or you over leveraged, it's not Elon's fault. It's your fault for having done those things. Accept that blame and deal with it. Then make your portfolio better moving forward. Treat these as learning lessons. If you're blaming other people for what's happening in your portfolio now, you're not going to learn the lessons. You're going to repeat the same damn mistakes. I want you guys to make lots of money investing in cryptocurrencies. I want you to be super successful investing. I want you to achieve all of your financial goals. But running around blaming people, that's not going to do it for you. You got to get the fear out. Right now, people are out there buying the dip. I bought some Bitcoin, $50,100 was my entry price. Bought about a half a Bitcoin yesterday. So, it's good. I see a big dip opportunity. I buy some Bitcoin. Got to get rid of some of that cash, put it in some Bitcoin, long-term wealth preservation. But most people on a day like today, they see Bitcoin's down 15, 20%. They panic sell. You should be panic buying. Everyone's out there buying the top and selling the bottoms, or at least most of the market is. And so if you can get past this, if you can not sell the bottoms and buy the tops all the time, if you can actually accept personal responsibility for your portfolio, you're going to do so well in this market. But you have to think a bit opposite to the herd, because most investors make most of these mistakes and most investors don't do well over time. Anyway, your question for today: did you lose money because of the Elon Musk Tesla drama that's happened over the last couple of days? Or have you been out there buying the freaking dip? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.